let me tell you about a 9 to 5, right? So when you're a dreamer, right? When you have dreams and you have goals and you have things that you want to accomplish in this world, your 9 to 5 should be, the sole purpose of it should be to fund your dreams.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Amen.
You know, I don't think you should be going to work just to work and pay bills, right? Because if you're doing that, you're gonna be stuck in the same place for a long time. So what you need, depending on what it is you're trying to do, you need a job that's gonna pay you your worth and that's gonna pay you enough money to pay your bills and fund your dreams.
That's a gem. That's a bar right there. Guys, another episode. Thank you for tuning in to the Grind Chronicles, where we bring you tangible entrepreneurs. And when I say tangible, I mean entrepreneurs you can put your hands on and fingers on and touch and pick their brains. Not everybody has access to Bill Gates or Elon Musk, but we got some of the best guys doing it. And we like to bring you their insight and entrepreneurs that you can hit up on Instagram and probably would actually answer you back. So today, our guest needs no introduction. He's an actor, producer, creator, singer. Heard you could sing a little bit too from someone. Good friend of mine, Amondre Jackson.
What's up? What's up? What's
going on, sir?
What's going on, man?
So please, I might have missed something. Tell the audience about yourself. What do you do?
So I'm an actor. The most recent film I did was One Night in Miami, which you can watch on Amazon Prime. I'm a filmmaker. I write, direct, and produce my own television pilots. One of these days, I'm gonna sell one of them, but right now I'm just making them until that happens. The first one I did was Sales, which you can find on YouTube by searching Sales the series, and then the other one is The Deetses, which you can find on YouTube by just simply searching The Deetses. Other than that, I have a Turo business where I have a rental car business with Turo. So I got like 4 cars on there, and that's doing pretty well as well.
That's what's up. That's what's up. We haven't had anybody that's done the Turo business yet, but I know it's huge, especially here in Metro Atlanta.
Oh, yeah,
you can do well. We're going to touch on the Turo business.
Okay.
Because I think my audience would get a lot of benefit out of that.
Mm-hmm.
But we also, one of the most inspirational things why when we started the podcast, I said I really have to get Dre on, is because as entrepreneurs, as other people I work with, too many times I hear people say, I can't do this because I don't have funding, or someone didn't believe in me, or I can't get this done, I'm just not going to get it. I'm just going to let whatever this is die. But you have, and I'm going to let you tell the story, you have one of the greatest stories ever on producing a feature in sales, but self-funding it the whole way. And I want you to talk, because it's one of the greatest stories on, because it was not a minor expense. You didn't self-fund something for $600. You self-funded something for tens of thousands of dollars, and it was a great production. So I definitely want to touch into that. But as far as acting, and I'm not aware of this myself, but are you a formally trained actor? How did you get into acting?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So with acting, I think what really made me want to deep dive into it is many years ago, like 11 years ago, I was an extra on a Transformers movie. And just sitting there watching them film that and shoot that was amazing to me, and it made me want to get involved with it.
Okay.
So what I did was I'm born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, right? That's where I'm from, and that's where I did that extra work at. So I moved to Orlando, Florida.
Okay.
In 2013. And when I got there, I just started making videos. That was the start. I started making videos, going to workshops. I went to Tasha Smith. She had workshops. She's a great actress and now director.
Yeah.
She has workshops. She has an acting studio in LA.
Oh, okay.
But she travels and does workshops, and she does Atlanta often. So I came to Atlanta, went to her workshop. I started making YouTube videos of me just doing monologues and scenes and posting them on social media. I look back at those now and they're terrible, but people helped uplift me back then. But when I moved to Atlanta almost 5 years ago. It'll be 5 years in January. And as soon as I got here, I searched for acting school, like an acting studio, acting school. Because I knew this was Black Hollywood. You know, I knew this was the place to be if you wanted to grow, because LA is not. It's the place to be if you're already established, right?
Exactly.
So found a school, Nick Conti's professional actor studio. That was the first school I found. I went there, audited, joined, and I had been with him for some years. And I trained under him, and I learned a lot. Met another teacher there, and she ended up branching out and doing her own thing. And I went ahead and followed her, and now I train with her. You know, I learned what I could from him. Now I wanted to learn some new stuff from her. So I've been consistently training in Atlanta since I got here 5 years?
5 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have been trained now. Has Atlanta been kind to you as being the Black Hollywood?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was one of the best decisions I made to move here, because, you know, it's like anything you want to do, you know, you have the opportunity to be successful at doing it here. You know what I mean? Because, you know, obviously acting is huge here. I mean, I think we're doing more films now than even LA, even Hollywood, you know?
Yeah.
So it's really big here. So if you want to act, this is a place to be for it.
Yeah,
for sure.
As being somewhat, not as much now, but somewhat involved in the process. You know, I don't know if my audience knows, but I had a studio here in Atlanta where we did lots of industrials, which are essentially corporate training videos and those kind of things. Videos
Actors
for
do a lot of those.
actors do a lot of those. We did a lot of music videos. I probably shot over 70 music videos, and this is back in 2010 or in 11. And so we had 18,000 square feet like we're sitting in now. If you're watching us on YouTube, we're kind of sitting on a blank sound stage and set with a psych wall behind us. So I've been a part of it. And what a lot of people don't understand is the great thing with the tax incentives here in Georgia, where productions, the major productions are coming. You're getting, you know, people at Pinewood and Screen Gems, which is awesome. But it's not always being about being a part of a major production. Commercials and other things still are taking part of that tax incentives,
Right.
and they need actors and craft services and all those things too. So that's the beauty of being in Atlanta, is just
Right.
being able to throw yourself in those things. So you mentioned sales, and sales is what I kind of touched on before. How did your movie sales? Give us a brief synopsis. What's the elevator pitch for sales?
So sales is about, really, it's like The Office. It's like, I had never seen The Office before when I came up with sales, but everybody was telling me that that's what it was like, that's what they thought of when they saw it.
Yeah.
But it's set at a car dealership, right?
Okay.
So it's a workplace comedy that set at a car dealership that really just, you know, kind of shows people the struggles that salespeople deal with customers, and sometimes even with their sales and their manager, you know?
Exactly.
There's this big stigma on sales consultants, like people that sells cars. They have the biggest stigma about they can't be trusted, they're sleazy, they're slimy. But people don't even realize what they put salespeople through in a car buying process.
Yeah.
And that they have a stigma, customers have a stigma.
Exactly.
And sales is about showing people the kind of stigma that they actually have.
Exactly. Being there myself, I can attest to that. And seeing you in it, when I saw it, I was like, oh, Dre can actually act. He's not just, you know, being in Atlanta, everybody's a rapper, producer, actor. But I was like, oh, he can really act, and it was well produced.
Thank you.
And it was great. And then, as we talked about a little bit more, finding out you self-produced it, that's really, you know, why I want to speak to you today. So if you listen to the podcast, you know, we dive into numbers, we talk numbers because, excuse me, it just is tangible. I want the audience to see what it takes and know. If you can, and you don't mind, can you share what it costs for you to produce sales?
About $20,000.
About $20,000, and all self-funded. Great.
Well, I got the money myself in every way, shape, or form I could. You know, like what was crazy is that when I was doing it, and this is one of the reasons how you can just, you know, God is real. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I didn't know where I was going to get the money from, but I knew I was going to get it. that was just how my mind was working at the time. It was almost as if I blacked out and just made shit happen. And then, you know, I just knew it was going to happen. So I was setting stuff up. I was hiring people, you know, hiring people to fill all these roles and these positions. And I was renting equipment and I was booking location space and I was doing all this stuff with no money. But I knew I was going to get it. Like, I just felt it. You get what I'm saying? Like, so, and what's crazy is when I needed it, I got it. So between work, you know, between working my behind off, you know, saving up money, taking out loans, you know, getting people to donate, you know, striking investment deals with people like, hey, you give me this, I give you this back plus this. You get what I'm saying? And that way I managed to come up. I didn't even know I spent $20,000 until it was over.
And so that's the ultimate testimony. If there's a will, there's a way.
There's a will. If you have faith and you really want to do something and God knows your heart, you will get it.
And so in this 20,000, like you said, just working your butt off, like, so your regular 9 to 5, you're feeding yourself and then putting the rest away towards this or putting money towards this.
So let me tell you about a 9 to 5, right? So when you're a dreamer, right? When you have dreams and you have goals and you have things that you want to accomplish in this world, your 9 to 5 should be, the sole purpose of it should be to fund your dreams.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Amen.
You know, I don't think you should be going to work just to work and pay bills, right? Because if you're doing that, you're going to be stuck in the same place for a long time. So what you need, depending on what it is you're trying to do, you need a job that's going to pay you your worth and that's going to pay you enough money to pay your bills and fund your dreams.
That's a gem. That's a bar right there. Yeah. No, that's exactly how I feel. And that's exactly what you did. And so were you putting lump sums away, or as you got some money after being paid for 2 weeks, you're renting something or doing a part? How?
So I was putting it away.
Okay.
So I opened up a business account and then I would just put money in there. And every time, if I got a loan, I put the loan in there. If somebody gave me, a donation or an investment, I put that in there. So, when I needed to pay for the equipment rental or when I needed to pay a deposit or something, it was there and I did that. Okay. And then I just didn't touch that money so that when the production was done, I divvied everybody's money out to them, that all the crew members, and I just wanted to make sure it was all there.
And because from what I believe too, on production, you paid actors, correct?
Not in sales, but I did in the Ds.
In the Ds.
Yes.
And so what you've done on your productions, but you paid crew members, you rented the equipment. So it wasn't so much, hey, always come help me out. You really, and so when you pay people, do you pay them scale? How does that work? How do you set?
So when you're independent, scale is for union, for SAG,
okay.
Right? So that scale is just the base pay for SAG. But when you're independent, you typically pay day rates.
Okay.
Right? So a lot of crew members and actors or different people, they have, when they work for independent filmmakers, they have day rates.
Okay.
So a gaffer can charge $300 a day or $500 a day, or a sound mixer, he can charge $500-$600 a day and $1,400 for his equipment or something like that.
Okay.
So whatever their day rate is, however many days you're going to be hiring them for, you want to have that amount of money set aside.
And equipment rental, do a lot of them bring their own equipment, sound guys, or are you renting that separately?
So there is separation, and then there are some people that have their stuff. So you want to hire people that have equipment, like you want to hire a cinematographer that has a good camera. Okay. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's gonna charge you to use that camera, but you want to hire somebody that got that. Yeah. You want to hire a sound mixer that has all the sound mixing equipment, right?
Yeah.
But lighting, lighting, cords, lenses, boxes, Apple boxes, all the different things that you need for set, you have to rent all that.
Okay.
So, there's great places in Atlanta, like Atlanta Grip Truck and, different
you get the whole truck essentially with all the equipment.
With everything.
Yep.
They have different plans and options, and they have all the different stuff you need in it. You rent that stuff. That has all your nuts and bolts.
Okay.
And then you hire your people that have the actual equipment you need, and then boom, you got what you need.
And so not have shot a movie before, when you get on set, how do you know, I'm gonna need Apple boxes, I'm gonna need lights here to be outside, I'm gonna need diffusers? How do you know what you actually need if you haven't done it before?
So the first thing you're gonna want to do as a producer when you're getting ready to do a film, this is all part of pre-production. It's called pre-production. Pre-production is getting everything in order for production. So the first thing you're gonna do is hire all your positions. Okay. That's the first thing. So you need your DP, which is your director of photography. He's the camera guy. You need your first AD. You need a second AD. You need a sound mixer. You need a gaffer. You need grip. You need production assistants. You need all of those people. Once you get them all hired, then you need to have meetings with them. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then they tell you what they need
to shoot a particular shot.
Yeah. So the cinematographer and the gaffer, they know the kind of stuff they need because you tell them this is kind of what I want. You know, I want to get like the Modern Family look. You know, this is what I'm going to need. I'm going to be shooting these kind of scenes. You know what I mean? This is kind of the place or the location that I'm thinking about shooting this at. And then they're going to say, okay, well, we're going to need some China balls. We're going to need some tungstens. We're going to need this. We're going to need that. You know, you're going to need probably 3 or 4 of those. And then you're probably still going to not have everything you need when production starts. But they typically know and tell you what it is they need.
Okay. And so, this is, I'm assuming, the bulk of the money. This is the production cost.
The most money you're going to spend is on payroll.
It's on payroll. For that stuff.
Yep. Payroll and equipment rentals, because then you have to rent a truck. If you don't get like a Atlanta grip truck, you're going to have to rent a truck, a U-Haul or something.
To house the equipment.
Yeah, to be able to get all this. Because there are other places that rent out equipment. When I did sales, I rented it from some place. I can't remember the name of it. But I rented from some place, and I needed to have my own truck to go pick all that stuff up. But when I did the Deets, I did Atlanta grip truck, so they had the truck. They had everything on the truck. So they just came with the truck.
Exactly. And so once there, once you have that, you've hired everybody, you're saving, you're putting it out. How many days, sales particularly, how many days did it take you guys to shoot that?
We shot sales in 3 days.
Okay.
So sales it's actually a pilot. So it was shot as a pilot to try to sell someone. But same thing for the Deets. But the sales was 3 days. We got that done in 3 days, and the Deets was 4 days.
And explain. And I'm actually not even familiar with this. Please, what's the elevator pitch for the Deets? Explain the Deets.
The Deets is a story about 4 siblings that are estranged. And they're drawn together by the death of their mother and an outrageous, I don't know what you want to call it, outrageous demand or stipulation that she put in her will.
Okay.
Right? So she left the house. They had a nice house. She left the house to one of the kids when she passed. But in order for that one kid to have the house, all of the kids had to live there together.
Okay.
That's what it was about. But they were estranged. They didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So obviously they, didn't intend on doing that after they found that out. But then things that happened in their personal lives drove them to have a choice, but to
do that.
Do that. Yeah.
And so is this a film?
Nope, it's another pilot.
It's another pilot. Okay. So that leads me to this. So you've done these pilots in the business, because it is the film business, the movie business, the TV business. How do you then make money at this? And I know the short answer is you need to sell it, but tell us the process of how do you do that after it's done? It's done, it's been edited, it's packaged, it's ready to go. What do you do at that point?
So I'm not a genius at that yet. But one of the things I do know is you need to have some type of representative.
Okay.
So you got to have either an entertainment attorney or a literary agent or something of that nature in order to be, or it's like some type of manager or somebody that could really take your stuff and get it in the hands of the right people. It is exponentially hard for a new filmmaker that has not done anything major yet to get something picked up. The risk involved with Netflix. You know, if you want yourself on Netflix or a network or something like that, the way they think of it is, we don't want to take a huge risk with a new creator. Yeah. We want to work with the creators we've already been working with all this time.
They've been vetted.
Or established,
yeah,
right.
Established.
So it's so hard. It's not impossible because people have done it.
Yeah.
But it is so hard. So the only thing you could do, right, is you can keep losing money over and over and over until it lands.
Until something lands.
And it's going to land if you keep doing it.
Consistency is the winner every time.
Mm-hmm. And trust me, and I want to also say this. I know people are probably watching, they're like, well, I can't just keep losing $20,000. Neither can I, right?
Yeah.
But the seed that you plant, right? If it's 20,000, 10,000, 50,000, even if you have to do that 3-4 times, you get what I'm saying, and lose, $80,000. When that does happen for you, it's gonna happen big.
Yeah.
Right? And that's gonna pay off 10-fold, 20-fold, 100-fold. That money, the more money you put into your vision and your dream, the more you invest in yourself, God's gonna give that back to you.
Exactly.
1,000 times over.
So with your productions, let's say with the Deets, you do say, look, we like the concept. We don't like how it was shot, any of the actors. Are you at a process where you're like, well, great, let me write for who you want to? Like the property itself, are you willing to part with it, or do you need to be attached to everything you've created thus far?
I'm not one of those kind of people. I don't know if I'm just haven't made the project that would make me feel that attached yet, or if I'm just not that kind of person. But I'm open. I'm very open because, if somebody that has way more experience than me and purchasing content and releasing the content or distributing content has a suggestion as to how things should be, I'm gonna listen. You get what I'm saying? If they don't want to use the actors I use, the actors already know that's a possibility.
Yeah.
Because that's a high possibility. You know what I mean? They could say, hey, we want faces.
Yeah.
We want people we know. We want to put somebody on here that'll make people watch this. That's probably gonna happen. I'm not married to anything.
Okay.
But again, I might write something one day where I'm like, this gotta be this way. Again, until you're established, you're not gonna get too far with this gotta be this way.
And let me ask this too. So with the world we live in, with not only the big players, the Netflix, the Amazon, and I'm just solely at this point talking about streaming content, which we're going to a world where it's almost all streaming. Mm-hmm. But the UBs, the other lesser known ones, the other lesser known stations that are developing, of course we had BET, but now Ebony is developing content.
The magazine?
Yeah. We spoke to another guest about some things they're doing with their audio content and visual content, BET Plus and Bounce here in Atlanta, the Bounce TVs, and they're doing. Are you only after those, or are you, as a creator? Is it okay to go to a Bounce TV if they agree to pick up something?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's okay. Because at the end of the day, that's going to give you experience and selling content, distributing content, depending on what the project is, because the content of the project matters to where it goes, right? So sales is obviously a quirky dealership show. The majority of the cast is either white or Hispanic or something like that. And I want to touch on that too, because I get a lot of pushback for that, but we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Wow. But that is not something that will probably get watched on Bounce TV.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So you would not even pitch that to Bounce
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah.
Right. So that's something that you would pitch to Netflix or Hulu or Amazon, or maybe, you could try to do a network, but network is even harder. You get what I'm saying? And then they have so many rules and regulations and, FCC and all of this stuff. If you do a streaming service like Netflix, Hulu, you can do whatever the hell you want to do.
Okay. And so I don't know if my audience is probably aware. I don't know if you know Derek Grace. Does a lot of business guy, face tats, dreads, doesn't look like your normal corporate guy, but big in online coaching, definitely multi-millionaire in the business, but he's recently started his own platform streaming, and it's, from what I hear, it's done pretty well. And they talk about, and I hear other people say, oh, these new streaming, they just need content. Everybody needs content. And as being on the side you're on, it seemed like everybody needed content till I actually had content, and I couldn't find anybody. Have you turned anybody down? Have there been situations where you're like, I don't think you're a fit for any of my productions?
No, I haven't turned anybody down, but I think when people are constantly saying they need content, they want it from established creators.
Oh, okay.
That's what and that's what's crazy. And you know what? I'm going to talk about this. I think that there's something called Hollywood talk.
Yeah.
Right? And what that is that you have people that act like they want to help independent creators.
Yeah.
Right? They talk about, we need more black writers, we need more black filmmakers, we need more content, we need this, we need that. But again, there's tons of us out here that are very talented, but get nowhere, no play at all. You know what I mean? No one wants to hear it. You know what I mean? So what they really want is they want more content from people that are already established. Now, another avenue that they would take to get more content are from established people's kids or family or people that they know that they were introduced to, like, hey, what's her name, the one that's doing The Shy and all the great stuff on BET. Lena Waithe.
Yeah.
Lena Waithe went to a producer or a production company with one of her cousins or siblings, and they're a great writer. You should read this stuff. I guarantee you they're
going to take a shot on
it.
it.
They're like, oh, this is some new content we can take. But if it's not someone they know, it's just like, who are you? It's almost like a stranger just walked up to you and asked you for some help. What do you immediately do? You're like, get away from me. You know what I mean? That's what they do.
So have you felt from, and this is probably will be based upon your own personality, but have you felt is the way to go becoming an influencer via social media? Because there's people that have crazy followings that now are getting content deals and doing stuff, and it's probably not that good, but they already had that machine behind them where they said, you know what, we at least know their 30 million followers will at least watch this. Right. Is that a route you want to go, even though that's not the true science of what you're trying to do?
I could. I could and I would. I probably will eventually, but gaining followers is hard.
It's hard too. That's a job within itself.
Long time. But to touch on that you're talking about though, actors feel disrespected by that.
I bet they do. Because
actors work so hard for so many years, and that's what they do on a daily basis, and they lose jobs to people that are social media influencers just because of their followers. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Not because of talent, and I'm not saying they're not talented. They were talented enough to gain 1 million followers. Yeah. But acting talent is different from singing talent, which is different from entertaining social media people talent, So there's different types of talent. Acting talent is very specific to people that worked many years on their training and their craft, and they audition 50 million times a year to try to book something, and then they lose a job to someone who just gets handed a job just because of their followers. And it's a business decision. Yeah. It's because the production company wants their followers, they want that 1 million followers to watch the show. Okay. So everything about the entertainment business is a business decision, and if you could figure out, if I could figure out,
Yeah.
what their mindsets are and how they make those business decisions, I think I would be even further than I am right now.
No, trust me, I feel the same way. But with I'm sorry, with what was I gonna say? So once the production is getting there, or once it's done, and you said you need representation, and you have that, and so is it their job to go out and pitch and try to sell for you, or do you still have to do some of that yourself?
The representation will get you the meeting.
Okay.
Then you have to pitch
Okay.
yourself, right? So production companies, streaming services, they only want to talk to representatives. They don't
Okay.
want to talk directly to the talent because they don't want to deal with somebody that doesn't understand the lingo, that doesn't know what they're doing. They don't want to go back and forth with somebody that's the actual talent.
Okay.
They don't want to deal with that kind of drama. They want to only talk to the representative, and then they only want to talk to you when you do your 5-minute pitch. And then that's it.
And have you gotten those pitches?
Nope, not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
I have an entertainment attorney,
Okay.
but I just think I haven't made the project that's stuck yet.
Okay.
A lot of people love sales. I get that. That circles back around to me all the time. And sales just needs to be redone.
Okay.
Sales was my very first project.
Yeah.
And I wrote it, I acted in it, I produced it, I directed it, and it was too many hats to where that was difficult, especially when it's your first project and you're doing all those things. It was very difficult. So it needs to be redone because it's an original concept. There's nobody else doing it. There's no other show that focuses on a dealership on television. And it was funny. You know, it just needs to be tighter. And the experience I have now versus what I had then, I could redo it and make it so much better. But I wouldn't be the director and the actor and the producer.
How do you think you get those meetings or get it once the project is tighter? How do you get those eyes there?
You make a query letter.
Okay.
So you have to write up a query letter. It's almost like a short little pitch on paper about your project and why they should meet with you to discuss it. And you give that a query letter. Sometimes there are other things like there's a like a spreadsheet, not a spreadsheet, like a publisher PowerPoint thing you put together. It's called something
like a pitch deck almost.
Yeah, a deck. Yeah, it's like it's a something deck. I can't remember what it's called. But you put something. Sometimes they would want that. Your query letter, as much stuff as you can put together to pilot, and then that's like a package that you give to your representative to try to get you that meeting.
Okay.
Right? And then if you can get that meeting, if you can get in the door, then it's up to you to give them a few minutes of a good pitch.
Now, I have another friend that's trying to pitch something, and the avenue they're trying to get they're trying to go through network. So they're setting meetings trying to get meetings with producers that produce other things on that network and see if they can walk it in through there. Mm-hmm. Is that advisable?
So they can't walk it in through there. What it really is, especially when you're dealing with a network, is you aren't really trying to get the network's attention. You're trying to get the producer's attention.
Okay.
And because what you want is a producer to option your scripts or your show. Yeah. What that means is they're paying you for the option to have the first right to do something with that project. Okay. They don't have to do nothing with it, but you can't do anything else with it for that term of the option, because the option is a term for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. I want to buy 3 years option on Hookins. You get what I'm saying? So they're going to give you X amount of dollars. Now, if that 2 years or that 3 years is up and they haven't done anything with it yet, they have to pay you again if they want to keep it. Or it's either that or they're going to say they're not going to do anything with it.
But at least you could feed yourself during that
time. During the time that you can't do anything with it because they're holding it. Now, if they take it during the option and they actually go ahead and make it, they are putting that investment in the show. They're going to put all the money, they're going to make the show, and then they are going to take the show to the network and say, hey, can you pick this up?
Okay. Okay. And so, whatever project you have going on, the way you've done these things with grinding and self-funding,
Mhm.
if you had the option, like, look, I want to be an EP on it, Dre,
Mhm.
but, here's 50 grand, but I need to be an EP.
Yeah.
Is it better to hold tight to your own things where you have the kind of, the buck ends with you? Or is that, and it all depends on what they want to be EP. It could just be a naming rights, or they actually want to be there in the room.
That's what I was going to say. A lot of times, if people are willing to donate a lot of money just to have an executive producer credit, they just want the credit.
Oh, okay.
They don't really want to do anything.
Oh, okay.
They just want their name on that credit that they executive produced this project. So yeah, I would do that for sure without a problem. Because I think any independent filmmaker would, because that's one of the ways that you get money for your project, is you can buy an executive producer credit. Because really, an executive producer is really just somebody that pays for stuff.
Pays for stuff.
Pays for stuff and delegates. So if somebody's willing to give a lot of money for that, yeah. Now, if they want to be involved in the creative process, that's another story. You need to vet them. You need to make sure that they're the right kind of person that you want to work with before you decide to do that.
Okay. So the deets, where can we find that?
Yeah, YouTube. You just search the deets.
Okay.
The DEETS.
What else film wise do you have in the bucket? Are you working on anything right now?
I'm thinking about my third one.
Okay.
I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and he wants me to scale down the spending. He wants me to do it on a much lower scale, and that's really a struggle for me. Doing things on a much lower scale, because I just can't see things that way. The way I see things is the bigger. The way I see things is when you cut corners, you can see it in your work. You get what I'm saying? So my thought process was to go big with this next one. Get as much money as possible, maybe $100,000 or close to it, and really go hard with the best of the best crew members, the best actors, a stronger casting process, the Arri Alexa equipment, cameras and stuff like that, versus a Black Magic or something like that. And really just taking the time to make sure it's perfect, to make sure it's the perfect script, even if it has to be rewritten a few times. And maybe even this time, instead of just doing a pilot, doing shorter time limits, but a whole season.
Okay.
So instead of shooting 30 minutes for 4 days, I could shoot, 8 or 9 10-minute episodes, in a 2 or 3 weeks.
And so, is it that you've just been writing towards series? Mm-hmm. Is there anything where you would want to do a feature film? And I should ask you, is it easier to, let's say you put the $100,000 into a feature production, hour 20-minute production, a movie. Is it easier to sell that than it is to sell a series?
Mm-hmm. It's easier to get it on a streaming platform.
Okay.
So if you make a movie, all you got to do is find a distributor, and they can get it on Netflix or something like that, or Amazon Prime. But
do you, as a filmmaker, would you make at least your investment back from that?
I doubt it.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know how much they would pay you to, to get it on there. But again, it's up to Netflix if they want to buy it. It's just easier to get a distributor to put a movie on there than it is for a TV show, because you have to shoot every single episode, and it had to be good quality in order for you to get a distributor to be able to put a whole television show on a network. But again, the network has to be willing to do it. So as far as how much they would pay to do it, that would be a negotiation. That would be up to the content purchaser. So you really just wouldn't even know.
Do you want to do features, or do you just want to do TV or series format?
I'm not against doing a feature.
Okay.
I'm not against it. It just would have to be the right script.
Okay.
I'm writing a movie right now. I write movies too.
Okay.
I'm writing one right now that I feel really good about. That I feel it in my soul and my spirit that it's going to be something good. But I don't plan on shooting that myself. Okay. I plan on just trying to sell that. Okay. Because I know that I would not have what I need to make that what it needs to be. It needs to be somebody with buku money.
And how does a screenwriter sell something? Like, how would you sell
through
it?
through your representative.
Through your
Same
representative as
thing.
well.
So you write it, you put yourself together a nice little pitch or query letter with your script, and you give it to your representative, and then you tell them the people that you're interested in working with. You actually have to write a query letter for each one that you want them to give it to. So if you want Hulu, you want Netflix, you want Amazon, you have to write a query letter for each one of them, and you got to kind of cater it a little bit to them. And then you give all of those to your representative with your script and anything else you want to provide, and then you try to get them to use that to get you a meeting. If you got the resources to get you the meeting, then that's where you take over, and you have to go in and try to pitch it.
Wow. Do friends and family ever say, you've tried it twice, why are you putting this money into this?
Nope.
Okay, so it's great. So you've had supportive people.
Yeah, no one's really said that. Friends and family, they help out in any way they can.
Okay.
They give what they can give, and no one said why you keep doing this shit.
Okay.
But
do you feel, and I know as an entrepreneur, which you are as a filmmaker, is there moments where you feel like after you've you've done something, or you've put the time, the money, the effort into sales, and it hasn't been picked up yet, how do you give yourself that internal pep talk to do the next one?
You really just got to be passionate about it, because when it doesn't happen, you really got to say, okay, that didn't work. Let's do it better. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because when a really good script pops in my head and I feel like, damn, this has to happen, I'll write it and then I'll say, I need to do this better. What didn't I do right the first time?
Yeah.
Let me do it better this time. When I've done it absolutely right and it still doesn't get picked up, I don't know how I'm gonna feel then. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure,
Okay.
but hopefully I feel that, I can just keep going until it happens. That's all I can really say.
So I always say you got to,
because as an actor, you audition hundreds and hundreds of times a year, and you might only book, a handful of roles.
Okay.
So in our mind, we do it and forget about it, do it and forget about it, do it and forget about it. So we don't really stress on not getting something or something not working out. We spend money on headshots, workshops, classes, this, that, and the other, reels, and we spend all this money and then nothing happens. We just keep going.
Short-term memory.
Yeah.
Very short-term memory.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you still audition regularly for stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all the time.
Okay. Okay. And just to touch on real quick, because we have had other entrepreneurs talk about this, and I know it's something that I'm trying to actually learn more about. So, part of the reason I do the podcast is to pick people like yours brain, to get some free coaching myself. Mm-hmm. So everybody knows the play now. Mm-hmm. But Turo, you said you have 4 cars on the road now at Turo. How'd you get into Turo?
I had some coworkers that were talking about it, and they were talking about, one of them was talking about how he was already doing it with one car, and then it kind of just spread. Everybody's like, yeah, this sounds like a good idea. I'm gonna get into this. So I said, I'll try it too. I'll get a car. So there were a few cars that I really, really wanted, but I didn't need them because I have a company car with my job. So I don't have to have a car. They pay the insurance. I don't get a car note, nothing. So I just never needed a car, but there are cars that I want so bad. So I was like, all right, well, let me go ahead and let me get a car. So I bought a Range Rover Velar, right? And because that was a car that I wanted. I thought those were really nice. And I put it on, I started, set up the Turo, put it on there. And it's just, people just started booking it all the time.
What year?
18.
Okay.
18, yeah. And people just started booking it a lot. And it was making decent money for me. So when I was buying the Velar, I had gotten approved or pre-approved through a few different lenders because I was trying to find the best rate, right? So I took the best rate, I bought the Velar, but I still had those other loans as pre-approvals. So I said, well, shit, I might as well just take these and get a couple others.
So you did all at the same time?
Well, they're good for like 90 days.
They're good for like 90 days.
So I did it once. I got the Velar, put that on there. It did good for me the first month. I made a decent amount of money in 1 month, So I was like, well, hey, let me take these others and let me just go ahead and just, get a car.
So what were the other 3 cars you purchased?
The second one I got was a Lexus. It was a 2017 Lexus GS 350.
Okay.
Put that on there. The first booking, the guy had it for a month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I made like almost $3,000 off of that. And then
and who books a car for a month? Are they
a
just
lot of people do that all
are
the
they
time.
are they business people? Are they traveling?
You know,
are they
people that
just
are
stunting for the weekend?
That guy ordered a car, like he had one built, and he
Okay.
was waiting for it to get built and sent to him. So he was using my car until it was done. Then you have people whose car is in the shop, and they may be getting something fixed that takes a long time.
Okay.
You know, and so you just never know. There's a lot of different reasons why people do month-long ones, but they do them. My Range Rover got booked for a month, and that was $4,700 I made off of that trip. You know, off that one trip.
Wow.
But
so I'm sorry, you said the Velar, the Lexus,
and then a 2020 4Runner Limited.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that at my job. I was just walking and saw it, and I opened it up. It was nice. It was clean. It only had like 10,000 miles. It had brown leather. It was beautiful. You know, it was a limited one. You know, limited ones are beautiful. So that was another dream car of mine. Was a nice, good limited 4Runner. So I just bought it, and I put that on there, and that's doing very well too. I just got that back. Somebody had it for 2 weeks.
Do you keep at your house? Are you renting space to house these?
No, I keep them at my house.
Okay.
I keep them at my house, and you know, and it's not often that they're all there.
Okay. Same time.
They're mostly rented. I had to hire some assistants.
Okay.
I have 3 assistants because it was a lot.
Yeah.
You know,
virtual assistants?
No, like actual.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I guess they have to meet people with the cars and clean them and all
they
that.
Clean it off, take all the pictures. You know, then they got to go pick it up when it's over, and they are. Lord, they are heaven sent help, you know, because I could not have the time that is required to do all that.
Could you walk away from your 9 to 5 and do Turo full time, you think?
You could, the average person could.
Okay.
You know, but
as funding your dreams and those things,
it's very
you have a lot
to
of
me.
Lot of
So I
expenses.
have to stay at my 9 to 5 because it helps pay for a lot. You know, it also helps me to be able to start this business.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And then I just bought an Audi last week to add to the fleet, a 2021 Audi A5 S-Line.
Okay.
And saw that again, just saw that, and I thought it was beautiful, and I was just bought it and then put it on there. So I just put that on Turo, so that one even hasn't started booking.
And if I may ask, these aren't cash payments. You're financing these.
Financing them,
Then, but you make enough from the bookings to pay
for the notes.
For the notes.
So how you have to look at it is when you start a business, you have your expenses, right? So you got probably a building payment, you got payroll, you have all these expenses. Then your profit is what you obviously are making after you've paid all those expenses, right? So that's the way you look at Turo. A person might be scared and might say, "Oh, I don't want to have 3 or 4 car payments." What it really is it's just expenses, right?
Yeah.
So I can make anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000 a month doing Turo, and then I pay a couple grand worth of car payments, and then
so you're paying probably $2,000 around that for car payments, but you're making
anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000 a month. You know,
okay.
So you're making anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 in profit every month, depending on how busy your month is. Yeah. So you're making a nice little $40,000-$50,000 a year business. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's not a bad business for
because that's the average income for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So that is not bad. Like I think it's great for me. I like it. I pay my assistants commission, or they get paid per trip. So if a trip is booked, I pay them $60 and it's round trip. So that's for them to drop it off and pick it up when the trip is over. And they can make this a decent part-time job for them. Because if I get bookings 3-4 times in a week, they're making a few $100 a week. You know what I mean? So it works out for them. It has to be someone that's very free. That's not doing working a full-time job, but that has a reliable car to get back and forth to me and stuff. But they're making decent money, and then if they want to go on a date night or they want to go do something, and I let them use my car, as a perk,
And how do you decide? I know. Well, you kind of said because you saw these cars like, oh, it's a dream car. Mm-hmm. Is that advisable for Turo? How should you go about picking your car?
My advice for Turo is get you a nice, unique luxury car.
Okay,
that's what you should start with. Because those are the money makers. Okay.
Like the smart cars, are they not? Because I see people always say, "Oh, I bought 2 smart cars." Is it the smart car, the little tiny, but like a little pill?
Yeah, I would not do that.
And because they're buying them for cheap, and they're like, "Well, people want to."
This is the thing about average cars. Yeah. You can buy a 2021 Honda Accord or Camry. You can only rent it for $40 a day. You get what I'm saying? Okay. So it's just not. somebody books it for a few days, you're only making $100 and something. It's not, but your car payment, I bet it's $500 a month. It's not going to work. So with the Range Rover, it was like $60-some thousand, but I only had a 2% interest rate.
Yeah.
So my payments were only $700 and something. And you go with the credit union, they let you do like 84 months.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So you can get a cheaper payment.
Cheaper.
And then, so you have $700 and something car payment. But then if somebody books your car for like 4 days, that's damn near your car payment already.
Exactly.
So if you look at the whole month, you're making way more than a car payment off that one car. So you want to get you a unique, nice luxury vehicle. When I say unique, maybe it has a really nice interior color, or maybe it's not a common trim level, or just something nice about it. You don't just go buy an ES350. Yes, that's a nice luxury car, but it's not something that you're going to probably be able to rent it for $70 a day. You know what I mean? So with the Range Rover, something like that, or something like the Audi, you can rent that for $200 a day.
I would say that's what they rent
$175 a day. So that adds up so much quicker, and that makes that car payment so much quicker.
Wow.
You get what I'm saying? So what your goal is to get you, 3 or 4 luxury cars with $700-800 car payments, because you can rent them for anywhere from $150 to $200 a day and make good money.
Would you how high should you go in luxury? Would you go to if you could find a good price on a Lamborghini or Ferrari?
I wouldn't do that, because another reason I got luxury vehicles is because I only wanted to deal with a certain kind of people.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
When you have cars that are too accessible, too affordable, you deal with everyone. Any kind of person.
Yeah.
And you deal with a lot of shit, a lot of drama, and you just don't, if you don't want that kind of stress, you want to try, you still deal with some crazies, even with expensive cars, but you want to reduce your chances of dealing with crazy people. You want to deal with people that, are professional and smart and well off, and they're not really giving you a lot of issues. They're responsible, I should say.
Yeah.
And that's the majority of what I deal with is responsible people.
Yeah. Because
with the Range Rover, that has a $750 deposit just to even rent it, and that Turo puts that on there.
Yeah.
So you not the average Joe is not going to pay that.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
but there's enough people out there that are willing to pay it.
Yes,
that's amazing.
So that's why you only want to deal with a certain kind of people. You want to make a certain kind of money, and that's why you want to have certain kind of unique luxury cars. But you got to have a good interest rate, because the payments need to be reasonable. Like $700-800, so that you can make enough money to pay that and have a good profit.
Yeah.
You do have to add those cars to your insurance, because for registration purposes. But Turo pays for total loss if somebody total loss your car that's renting it. But you want to have it on your insurance, for when you're driving it and for registration. You can just up your deductibles if you want, make them like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 comp and collision, so that you don't have to show an astronomical amount of money. But with 5 cars on my insurance, I only pay $5 something a month.
Okay, that's amazing. And you got very nice cars too.
Yeah, and it's full coverage on all of them. $500-600 a month. It's like probably $300 or $400 different than what it would have been originally. Probably like $400 different than what it would have been without all of that on there. So that could be another expense. $400 for insurance. What you pay your assistants if you need them, and what you're paying for car payments.
What will be the next car you add?
I really want a regular big body Range Rover, like the Range Rover.
Okay.
I want one of those really bad. First of all, it's a dream car of mine, and second of all, I think that would be one I can price pretty well and do something good with. I would do a nice newer X6.
Okay.
I would do even like a GLE coupe or some kind of nice newer Benz as well.
Okay. What's next? What's next for you? I know you said you're writing still. What's in the works?
Right now, I have a huge focus on this script that I'm writing, that I'm trying to get finished. This film that I was telling you about, I'm trying to get that done. Because I really think I can do something really good with this. So I'm working to get that finished, and so that I can really try to push that. Once I'm done with that and I get that out in the atmosphere, then I'll start getting back to figuring out what my next production is going to be.
Okay. So, Dre Jackson, the deets, sales, both YouTube. Amazon Prime, One Night in Miami. You're in that, correct? So we can find you there.
Yes.
I appreciate it. Please, I have a lot of the people who listen, not only the regular entrepreneurs, especially being here in Atlanta. We got filmmakers, videographers, people making music videos, people making their independent films. Can leave them with just a gem, something that has worked for you. Yeah, so please leave them with something. What can you tell them that help them keep going?
Decide what you want to do in this life, right? Have faith that you're going to achieve it, right? And it's going to happen. If you just know it's going to happen, right? It's really all about the mindset. It's where the way you think things are going to turn out, that's the way it's going to turn out. If you keep positive and if you know in your mind and in your heart that what you're trying to do is going to happen, it's going to happen. It's just about faith, deciding what you want to do, sticking to it, never giving up, and keeping faith that it happens, and it will.
That's awesome. Thank you.
And you can't be scared. You cannot have fear. You cannot procrastinate. I talk to a lot of people. I'm from Milwaukee. A lot of people that live in Milwaukee is very content. You know, they don't want to be there, but they always talk about moving, but they're just far too content with where they're at. So they're scared to leave and jump. I was scared to do Turo, but I just did it. Yeah. You know, and now look, it's been very good for me. You know what I mean? But if I never did it, this wouldn't be happening.
Chapter 6 of my book, if you're scared, go to church. Because that's what I tell. That's the biggest thing. And it's not so much scared. You said it perfectly. Just being content.
Yeah, being too content.
Yeah. And you don't want to mess up your contentness. Yeah. And I understand that. Right. But at the same, then you can't complain and say that there's more you want.
You can't say you're broke. You can't say, you wish you had did this. You can't blame anybody but yourself if you won't leap. If you want to just take the leap. Yeah. If you want to move, drop everything and move then. Yeah. Because you'll be fine. If you got a little bit of money to get where you need to go and get you an apartment, you'll be fine. Some people, I want to have $15,000. You don't need $15,000. All you need is enough gas money to get where you're going and enough money to put your down payment on your apartment and your move. That's it.
Exactly. Exactly.
And just do it.
Yeah, just do it. There you go. And like you said, there's worse things that can happen than having your lights cut off or missing a meal or running out of gas. Just take the leap.
Exactly.
Build the plane on the way down. You'll get it. Yep. But man, Dre, I can't tell you how much I appreciate this. Thank you so much. I know a lot of people are going to get so much out of this. And so when this script is done and you've sold it, hopefully we can get you back on to talk about that process.
Absolutely. Anytime. Thank you for having me.
This is the Grind Chronicles. Thank you, everybody. As we always say, Dre said perfectly, keep going. If you're scared, go to church. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook as Amondre D. Jackson. Now, Amondre is AMONDRE and then D. Jackson. So Amondre D. Jackson, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, everything. Follow me.
The Deets, sales, YouTube, One Night in Miami, Amazon Prime. I'm sure you can find this man. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.